Good Sunday afternoon, YouTube. Let's turn those off. Some lights on. Let's see what these folks are doing. Looks like they're just heading over to the oil change place. Drop her into drive. Let's go. Gotta come up and get some wiper blades. These on the truck right now are pretty scuzzy. Pop up to my favorite friendly local auto parts store and drop some coinage. I gotta go put some gas in the left-hand tank on this thing. Once traffic clears, and we're going out to see the brother. Got some heat going here we don't really need. A little muggy out today. Supposed to be sunny. It ain't. Yet, anyway. I didn't look at the weather to see when it's supposed to blow through, but... kind of supposed to be off and on, rainy, misty through the middle of the week, I think. So it's got a little bit of a rough idle right now. Shouldn't be bad gas. It's only a couple weeks old in that tank, but with ethanol, you never know. Gotta tinker with this carburetor just a little bit. This truck has never been glass smooth when it runs. It's always had a little shimmy to it. So we'll just see what we can do with it with the new tune. But in the meantime, we'll put some fresh fuel in the empty tank at $2.79 a gallon. We're going to be buying good. So we want left-hand side, so we want that one right there. Watch the little kids running around. Don't hit the posts. Watch for people being stupid coming in for their coffee behind me. Alrighty, let's see what it takes to fill this thing up. That wasn't so bad. 40 bucks, 14.3 gallons. I left the lights on. Need to put a buzzer on this thing. Traffics. A little bit of grease in all the bendable parts this morning. Had some creaking going on in the front end, so that seems to have gone away. Everything still looks to be fairly tight under there, except for the one set of bearings on the driver front. They're a little bit loose, but what's this guy gonna do? Right up to the stop bar. We're going to kind of take the back roads back to the brother's place. I got to transfer some of the stuff for the Jimmy out there. I'm getting close to starting that project. Pulling my monies together and getting things set up and formulating the plan, getting the final details underway. Don't know exactly when, but soon. Backfiring through the tailpipes when you let off the throttle still. Just running just a little bit rich. Last time I checked, the timing was pretty much spot on, but every once in a while, see diesels. Just need that fine tune put onto it. I don't quite have the know-how on how to do that. By that distributor rebuild kit I need to put on this thing too. Mail delivery on a Sunday. Packages. So this last Thursday, the 15th of June, was my 10-year anniversary at the Boeing Company. And every 5 years they give us access to a catalog and we get to pick a free gift. So I went ahead and selected the Bushnell 350 by 50 telescope. And I figured, that'd be kind of fun, you know, the eclipse is coming here in another couple of months. It'll be here by then. I was out of town Friday night into Saturday afternoon, got home and it was already sitting on my front steps. Not too bad for a free gift. Put it together, gotta tinker with it a little bit, but it's been overcast and misty, so I can't really go out and use it. Next weekend, going down to the folks' place. Hopefully the weather will be nice. I'll drag it down with and we'll play with it and look at the mountains and the trees. Spy on the neighbors and things like that. Got a late 80s, early 90s vintage Dodge, at least 3/4 ton behind me, 4-wheel drive. Shopping for a new truck right now. Just trying to get his cleaned up, do a few minor things to it to sell it. He was a little upset about the trade-in value. It's got two things going for it. It's a 10-year-old truck. Doesn't matter what condition it's in, it's a 10-year-old truck. And it's only 2-wheel drive. Around here, people don't like that kind of stuff. Oh, excuse me. Good way to wreck the truck. Alrighty, cross traffic. Still got the wheels of the Jimmy in the back. I'm trying to straighten them out a little bit. May have one that's not usable. It's got a crack in it. Looks like it's been welded once before. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with that one yet. They're a little bent, a little beat up. Should be able to straighten most of the bends in them. Looks like just the outer rim portion. his first real drive of the truck since it took the center caps off. Not that that really is going to make a difference, anything, but did that quick little run around the neighborhood just to make sure everything was still bolted up correctly and the wheels weren't going to fall off. Thinking I'm going to change the lug nuts on these though. They're a real tall style. Don't care for the way they look in the back. With the little bolts around the fake bead locks on these wheels, and then the extra long, 1.5, 2 inch long lug nuts on this thing. It looks like I got dual rings in the wheel. But that's not a high priority. I'm thinking about throwing some wheel spacers on the back of this just to bring the rear wheels out a little bit. I like that on the last Blazer. I'm going to do it on the next Jimmy. They just do it on this thing too, just by 2. Need to do a little bit of research and figure out if the lug nuts are going to be all the same. That kind of bugged me on that Blazer, the blue truck. It was the stock size lug nuts for the wheel spacer, but they were oversized for to put the wheel on, so you had to carry 2 different lug nut wrenches. See what I'm saying about these wipers? So I bought new ones. But they may put a little bit bigger studs on the wheel spacers just for the extra stress. You're pushing that wheel out a little bit more. So, they're doing the other side of the road now. We're making progress. Putting a nice retainer block in. Getting a drainage ditch put back in. Must have washed out a little bit over the wet winter we had. Said it before, but we had the wettest winter on record in Seattle since record keeping began in the 1890s, I think it was. 1880s, something like that, maybe 1870s. So when people in Seattle are complaining about the rain, the bicycles on the path down there. Hopefully there's not a bike event this weekend and the back roads are going to be tied up with them. And traffic behind me. Jeez, something's going on out here. You're clear. Make your turn. Go for it. So I'm going through. At Boeing. I'm taking a 4-day weekend. Took Friday off. Today's Sunday. I still got tomorrow off. Do a 4-day work week. I think I got 2 5-day work weeks. And then a 5-day weekend for the 4th of July. The 4th is on a Tuesday this year. And we only get the 4th of July off. They don't... With our union negotiations, we don't get any other days off around there. So that means I would have had to have gone into work on Monday, take Tuesday off, come back Wednesday. And I thought, you know what? For 2 days vacation time, I can get a 5-day weekend out of it. We'll get to play with some vehicles. I might just even try to get the Polaris out one of those days. Wednesday morning would be a good one to do that. Everybody will still be hungover from the 4th of July party. It's not a bad idea. Just go bomb up there for a couple hours and go get that thing in the dirt. Pick the cameras with, do a bunch of different shots. Square body Suburban back there, stripped down. Definitely want to do some different mufflers on this truck. I don't like the sound of this thing. Need to get it sounding more like old Cletus. And I got to get on reupholstering this seat, get the carpet in here. Other than the headliner, which is out, that'll pretty much finish the interior. Thinking I'm going to throw one of those overhead little storage shelves in this thing, right above the windshield. I might just wire up my CB radio up there. I kind of want that cord hanging down like I used to have on the semi-truck. Track down a couple of CB antennas for the back of this thing. Not that anybody uses CB anymore. That real nice Cobra sitting in the garage somewhere. It might be in the closet. But when I was doing my long haul truck driving, bought a real nice backlit 40 channel. I can't remember the model number of it. But get that thing wired into this truck. Well, we might just throw something into the Jimmy too. Cletus rewired and up and going, and he could get a CB. Could have all sorts of fun. So Friday, drove down to the folks' place. Heavy traffic. There's a lot of construction just south of Seattle on Interstate 5, so I went kind of the back roads, which is a nice drive, but the freeways were all backed up with everybody diverting. About a 4-hour drive. Usually it's about 3 hours. But yeah, I took all roads like this once I hit Puyallup. That was nice. I hadn't done that in a couple of years. Drove the car down, so got to play in the corners a little bit. And then yesterday came back up. That was a 4.5 hour drive. And that was from the halfway point. I guess it was 3 hours. It was 3 hours. 3.5, something like that. We got up early and went into Tacoma and went glass blowing again. Got a little bit of video I'm going to put up for you guys on that. I know those don't get a lot of views. It's not a real interest point with a lot of you viewers on my channel, but it's still fun. I enjoy it. I made a plate hang on the wall, just a flat plate. Red on the outside, black with a little white in the middle in a swirl pattern. It's all opaque colors this time, no transparency. Usually I like the transparent stuff to let the light shine through, but since this is hanging on the wall, no light's going to go through it. And then Mom asked if we wanted to do the pumpkins again this year, and I said, yeah, sure, why not? I wasn't going to do them anymore. I think I've done them twice now. So this will be the third time. Maybe I just did the one, and I think I did the Christmas ornaments twice. We make between, I think it's 6 and 8. Go around the horse poo in the road there. It's about a 4-hour event. Oh, repaved. Nice. But it's definitely fun. They recognize us there, and they appreciate us, keep coming back. There's a pink and black Ram Charger on the field over there. We've got 3 kilns in there, or not 3 kilns, 3 ovens, 3 workstations. On the weekends, they have regular hired guys. There's, I don't know, 8 of them or so, 10 guys and gals that are the instructors, and that it's a touristy type event, but you can sign up and actually take classes, get your certification to go blow glass on your own, and then you can rent studio space and time and go do your own thing. But I don't need another hobby, so I'll just do the touristy bit. And we've been there so many times for that. They don't just let us go do our own stuff. They're right there. They're still explaining things because they've got a scripted, what's the word I'm looking for? A script that they follow for describing how things are going. The temperature of the glass and what they're doing, and I can totally understand that. When I delivered hot tubs, I had a continuous script that I always talked. I even went so far as to print out setup instructions for the hot tubs, and threw some phone numbers in there of a couple of our electricians so they were in writing, and I'd hand that out every time we deliver a hot tub. Just printed a bunch of copies. It was 2 or 3 pages. Kind of a written guide when I drop my hot tub off. Here's what you guys can do for setting it up, getting the water in it, temperatures, checking the chemicals. Just a little above and beyond, but yeah, they do the kind of the same thing there at the glass place. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. I wrote it down. But I worked with somebody new this time. I'd seen him in the bay before, but I'd never worked with him. So. It's still fun. Probably have the glass piece by next weekend, so I can show you that. I came back from the brother's place last year. He went out someplace and I was feeding the cat. There was a BMW that they must have been out playing. They spun backwards and went off into the weeds right there on that corner, and the back end of that car was just mangled. With the tow truck, he just dug it out of the brush. The corner does kind of creep up on you though. But yeah, we'll do the pumpkins this year again. Maybe I'll even give a couple of them away. Not to you folks, I'm sorry. I'll give it to the people I work with and friends around here. I don't want to deal with the bureaucracy and the issues that can come up with having giveaways on the YouTube channel. I'm not really interested in doing that. want to do something like that, then look in your area and see what's available. There are several glassblowing events and studios in the Seattle area, but from what I've heard, this one we go to at the Tacoma Glassblowing Studio in Tacoma, Washington, it's the best. It's the most hands-on. All the others, they just kind of just sit back and they just kind of talk about what they're doing. You get to pick the colors, what you want to make, but this place here, you're picking the colors you're picking the design you want to do, you're picking the pattern you put in the glass. They've got you right there. They gather the molten glass on the end of the rod, but you're spinning the glass. They're letting you sit down with the wooden tools as they're shaping things. They're kind of blowing and doing the fine shaping. They put the little tube on the end, and you blow into that for getting the shapes and getting the size. And they're pretty receptive. If you want it a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, you can kind of tell them that, and they'll work with you within reason. Basically, for the experience I did yesterday, it's kind of a half hour. So you're limited on what you can do experimentally. But, next time I go for the single piece event, I'm thinking of doing the paperweight, because I've done everything else now, and mentioned that to my instructor, and I want to say Armando, but that doesn't sound right. But he did say that, yeah, he says that's fun. It's a solid chunk of glass instead of actually blowing a bubble in it and making shape. So you kind of get to make a little pattern on the inside, and then you coat it with molten clear glass. He says that's a lot of fun. We may try that next time. Alrighty, we are clear both directions. Floor it! Blow the junk out of this motor. That got us up to 45 before I backed off. Oh, they're putting 2 houses in there. That was just one. I'm usually coming from the other direction, so I probably didn't notice the other one. Yeah, this motor in this truck, it definitely feels like it's being restricted. I know it doesn't have a ton of horsepower, even with the few things I've done to it. But it feels like it's being held back. When it starts wearing out, I may just rebuild this one just to keep it numbers matching to the truck. So we'll go not crazy, but we'll do a minor overbore. Probably change out the cylinder heads, bump up the cam a little bit. Already got the headers. Everything on the outside's pretty much set up the way I want it. Just need to do the internals to get it to breathe a little bit more. I don't know if I'll do a full-blown 383 stroke or blah, blah, blah. I may just step it up to like a 355 or something like that. A little bit freer flowing cylinder head. Might even consider the Vortec head swap on this, if it'll go. That's what the Jimmy's gonna get. Little teaser there for that truck if you've followed so far. Smell that wet earth, all the green vegetation. What is today, the 18th of June? This is typical weather for us this time of year. We'll stay cloudy and overcast, usually through the 4th of July, and then 4th of July is kind of our turning point. Here in Seattle, they do a big event, a big fireworks show at the Space Needle. And it's hit or miss whether they use the high altitude show or the low altitude. Low altitude's for cloud cover. And I seem to remember since I've been living back up here, I moved up here in 98. Yeah, because I came back from Korea. Went down to California for a couple of weeks and then officially moved up here to McCord, and I've been back up here ever since. I was born up here, so I'm a native. I can claim that. Ever since I moved back up here, we've probably had low altitude shows at the Space Needle a lot more than the high altitude. Been there a few times, not planning to go back anytime soon. Too many people, parking's a pain. Not into the crowds. I just go back and watch some of my videos from the fireworks that go on in my neighborhood. Although last year wasn't nearly as intense. I think we've gotten rid of quite a few of the partiers in the neighborhood. So I'm making my turn down the bottom of this hill. Here I am. Slowing her down. Into this corner, I think. He's behind me. Yep, right there. Missed this turn more than I've made it coming this direction. Additional parking up here. Looks like we having an event or something. So, alrighty, I think I'm going to kick you guys off, get into it, brother, and see what he's got going on, and mess around a little bit today, and we will catch you all in the next exciting video. Thanks for following along, and see you later. Y'all be good. Bye-bye.